Alrighty boys, we're back and welcome. Walk through that portal. We're in Veckrith's Maw, and last time I was stopped right in front of the portal. This time we're starting right inside the portal. There it is. Gonna go get this first piece of Abyss armor, or the fatesworn armor, whatever the hell it is. It's our destined threads. So we're gonna go obtain them by whatever means necessary. Now I respec myself with the fate. So that means that my fate has been unbound like 4 times now, and it went up from 38 grand in cost to like 51 grand in cost. So I mean, not much for a guy that's literally a multi-millionaire. But, you know, I just wanted to redistribute things a little bit more evenly now that I have a little bit more vision about where I need to go. So if you look here on my skills, I got more in alchemy, right? Just a little bit more. I still have max in blacksmithing, detect, hidden, dispelling, mercantile, and sagecraft, because those are the applicable skills. Alchemy, not so much applicable because it's just temporary potion usage. There we go. So I redistributed, which took a few of the points that I put in persuasion and a few of the points that I might have put in stealth or lockpicking, took them out, and I was able to put like 2 more points in alchemy. So I'm 2 points off of being a master alchemist, and after that, since I got lockpicking, mercantile, and persuasion, and stealth are the only ones left. Stealth, it don't matter. I can walk up on anybody and murk them anyway. Persuasion, who gives a fuck? It's not even actually a applicable thing most of the time. Lockpicking is easy as flip. Okay, all you just need, and plus there's Prismeer fucking picklocks. Okay, you can literally go buy a one-time use skeleton key and buy multiple of them. So there's no point into lockpicking. And at Chaos Sight though, I want to put some into Chaos Sight. Once I'm done with alchemy, I'm probably going to start putting into Chaos Sight, because we'll have to go and get a bunch of these rifts, you know. But my abilities all the same, although I respect a little bit here. Instead of having a bunch of more points like I did have this maxed out, this one particular skill, I instead went and maxed these 2 out. So I've got Adrenaline Surge and this health boost. Then in Finesse, I did not do any weapons upgrades like I had before. I went with Envenomed Edge and Shadow Flare just to get the 5 points, but then I went with Envenomed Edge and maxed that out. So that allowed me to put a couple of more points into Might, and then Sorcery obviously just maxed out as usual. So those are the changes in my stats, and let's go fuck these pigs. Oh boy. Drop this again, because this will give us maybe a damage thing on the ground. I don't know. Okay, these guys are really starting to get fucking annoying. Take some of that, boy. Some of this. Boom. Alright. Scrap those guys with the quickness. Boom, blasted him apart. I fuck these bitches, man. I take them apart piece by piece. Like McGregor said, I don't just knock them out, we pick the rounds. Hell yeah. Oh my god, now I gotta go figure that out. Fuck. Alright, in we go. Pick up the rest of this real quick. Okay. What's this wiggling over here? Like, oh, it's fire. Get a creepo. Alright, looks like we got some harvesting to do over here. Yeah, I'm wondering, since harvesting Chaos Essence is kind of like harvesting like the Fate Essence plants. Like, if I didn't have a high enough alchemy skill to harvest that stuff effectively, would I still be able to get anything out of it? I don't know. But we might have find out. Alright. So far I can harvest it pretty easy, and plus I'm pretty close to being a master of alchemy, so probably basically able to get most of the reagents I need without having a problem. That's probably a thing that happens now. Get wrecked, scrub. I own this place. Fuck out of here. That's right. And this is my cave now. It's like Shrek. This is my swamp. Alright. Where the holy fuck? Okay, so if we go this way, but retrieve the armor piece too quick, though. Yeah, we might destroy the nodes and all, so we're gonna go take a few detours to see what else we can see real quick. Oh, look at that, a mother freaking chaos troll. Yeah, that's gonna suck some mad penis. Okay. That guy wants to creep out here. Hey, what's up, fellas? Alright. Yeah, y'all just want to self-detonate. That's fine with me. What's up, boy? That's right. Get wrecked and die. Best part about these guys is it's easy to trick them into killing themselves. That's great. Okay. Yeah, we're popping on down and continuing here. That's just going to be a jump-off point to ring around. We'll come back to that. Okay, we got some Niscarudos. Okay. That's the wrong way to go. Damn it. I keep holding back on the stick, but it always just throws me in the wrong direction. Some of this. I think I've eliminated their chaos shield, so. Alright. Yeah, and we smoked that little dude over there. Okay, minimal damage, it's alright. I actually traded Ziddy's hood for the Abyss hood, I think, and the Abyss hood, like Ziddy's hood gave me like +1 to like sorcery abilities, I think, but the Abyss hood actually gave me like 120 points to health and some defense and a chance of critical hit, so I'm going with that. Gorgor, that's a fantastic shield. We're just gonna see that maybe the Abyss armor set, the whole not the one we're getting right now, but the Abyss like magic robe slash set, whatever. If that's gonna be any good. Yeah, you gotta back off. Okay, that's damn it. Okay, it's not gonna hurt that guy. Okay, still I got you. Do some of that. Oh. Okay. Okay, that was. Okay, I think I fucked this chaos shield, so. Pop. Boom. Pop. Pop, 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 pop. Finish him off with some icy darts. There we go. Huh. Imagine if they had the multiple ice machine gun like I've been doing right here. But it was freaking fireballs. Freaking sick. Okay, loot the rocks. The rocks. Yeah, what's this over here? Nothing. Okay, give me some chaos essence. Chaos essence. I think it's cool the way they tied the story together, though. Like, the weave of fate was an antidote to the chaos. and like the only reason that we had fate to govern our lives or whatever was because friggin' the gods did it to like to control chaos. That was kind of cool, you know, because the story is my guy wakes up and he has no fate. He's unbound because he's already died once. But then, is fate like causality? Is it a thing that was created? And then they go into a little bit more detail on that, and then they come into DLC and be like, chaos was rampant, and they made fate as an antidote to chaos, but we, you know, we kind of fucked fate. So if we fuck chaos, everything just becomes free? I don't know, man. I don't know. But hey, we're about to find out, though. This, you know, it's an interesting premise of the story. Might go deeper into the lore on this, maybe. Wrong thing to do. I'm never actually too terribly interested in the lore of this game because, you know, a lot of things look the same, a lot of the characters look the same, you know. Kind of like, I don't know, like Dragon Age, you know. You might roll around in a town or something somewhere, but you know the elves are like mistreated or whatnot. But you could look at something and say, oh dude, that's a freaking elf, and it's actually kind of rare to see him sometimes, unless you went to like the elf quarter or whatever it was. So, I mean, things like that don't really exist in this game. There's just things that are there, and then you got these weird fae creatures, which are immortals, bound by fate, so they try not to ever deviate from fate. Oh boy. And they're bound by their stories. Anyway, interesting premise, you know. But Amalur's a big place, and it just made it a lot big. Like the original game was just the map without the DLC. But they made it a lot bigger with the DLC, though. And I actually enjoyed it. A lot of people are like, fuck the DLC, it sucks dick. Me, I actually kind of enjoyed this DLC. Especially this place you can only get to afterwards, and I'm thinking that it's appropriate, right? The only reason you can actually get to this or these areas after you finish the main game and is because, you know, of the premise of the story, right? Where basically you have to figure out, you couldn't really figure out like right in the middle of the story why fate was an antidote to chaos. Like, it wouldn't make much sense. But after you complete the story and you're free of fate, then you're like free to face chaos. Yeah. Anyway, I ramble about stupid bullshit. Hey, come on, get your bitch ass over here. Ah, damn, with the webs again. Let's lay down another circle of chaos damage. Spam lightning. Spam lightning. Oh, that got me. And that chaos rot was eating away at me, but got me recovered with some of the freaking health regen. What's in the rocks? Feral. 25 to ice damage. 300% to freezing damage? The fuck? 20% critical hit damage? Holy shit. The Bound Titan gives me 20% physical, 3 health regen, and 25% stun damage. Fuck, dude. That's 3 health regen per second, but it really doesn't matter, because combat is too slow anyway. 300% freezing damage? Holy shit. Dude, I'm equipping it. The Bound Titan's gotta go, son. I'm saving it right there. That's interesting. You know, when's the last time I picked up a motherfucking ring? Then it was fucking forever ago. And if I'm not mistaken, let me have a look at this. Yeah, Arctic Chakrams, 30 ice damage, plus 300%? Well, plus 100% is like double, right? So plus 100% be 60 ice damage. But plus 300%? That's 1, 2, 3, triple, quadruple, triple? Now it's gotta be like 120 fucking freezing damage. And 18 freezing damage over 6 seconds, and that goes up? Holy fuck, do the math, bro, but holy shit. Okay. Our freaking ice crystals over there are about to be OP as a motherfucking fuck. Alright, let's go test this shit. I'm freaking excited. Dude, like, one of the things about this game is when you're doing a magic build, like most other games, magic builds, you know, magic items and things of that nature are actually really rare. Oh, holy shit! Oh, that's amazing. Alright. I mean, but yeah, you know, magic items were already a rarity. I mean, fuck, even in Diablo 3, magic items were freaking rare. Like, I played the freaking, the monk, because I really liked the monk. I love the idea in Diablo of just running into a horde of demons, fucking fists blazing. And you could get the staff, and the staff was actually a pretty good weapon if you got the right skill to attach it. Or to, like, to use with it. Like, I've seen, what was it? One freaking speed run of Diablo 3, right? And the speed run, the guy chose the, monk build, but he got the staff, and the staff has this little, like, helicopter move where you twirl it in front of you and like, just run. And he maxed out that particular ability and got a bunch of buffs to that ability, and he just ran through everybody. Just like a freaking sideways helicopter blade, just like smoking people and mowing them down. But I always like the monk because there's just like something about, you know, you go out there, you got the crossbows with the huntress or whatever, and then you got the magic man. I like the wizard too. My first build was the wizard build, but my main was the monk. I just love the idea of mother freaking dropping in, right? And into a horde of freaking demons and start beating them to death with your mother freaking bare fists. It's incredible. So that I just love that aspect, right? So that's why I freaking like the mage or I like the monk so much, because it was just the manliest motherfucking build, right? Ow, I totally fucked that. Oh, damn, that's the wrong way. Damn. But yeah, but what I'm trying to say is, like, that one wasn't necessarily magic items that were rare with the monk build, because obviously it's a monk build, it's not magic. But even when you did the wizard, like, magic items specifically, they got like swords and stuff, but magic items specifically were really freaking rare, right? So that was always kind of annoying, because like one of the most powerful builds that you can have is the mage build, because it's like a freaking walking nuke when you get to the higher levels. Like, weak as fuck in the beginning, but adequate. But like you get to the higher tiers and you're just a walking nuclear weapon with the magic guys, and that's why I always like magic builds in games. But thing is, just like in Diablo 3, I've run around and but I say that to say that I say all that to say this is, like, it was just rare, right? To get a magic item, and in this game there's no exception. It's still rare to get a magic item. But what's even rarer in this game in particular were the freaking accessories. magic items are rare, but they're there, like magic clothing, magic weapons, you know, you can actually come across those, not fairly regularly, but good ones are fairly rare. But in this one, the real rarities were the accessories for sure. Because, I mean, you're thinking about it, the last time I picked up an actual good, freaking, like, piece of armor, was when I got that Gale Storm whatever to flip, robe, and I just realized, oh, this freaking robe is like mother freaking 418 defense, and it has like 4 slots for gems. And that was actually pretty recently. That's like one of my most recent situations that I picked up there. But the last time I got a fucking ring, right? Or a motherfucking, either a ring or a necklace. Like, I just got the keepsake necklace, right? And that one actually is pretty good buffs with armor and shit. But a ring, dude, I haven't had a ring since like, since before we hit Alabastra. Like, look over here. You guys remember Alabastra? Like, way the fuck over here in the corner? Dude, I didn't have a ring since before we hit Detir, actually. I went all the way through Dalentarth, but I had the same set of rings. Like, I just couldn't find any good ones. And then I find this with a 300% fucking freezing damage. Holy shit. It's amazing. Anyway, yeah. Ow, that hurt. Wrong way. Ow. Oh, damn. Go get him, Tony. Oh, this Chaos armor is kind of annoying, though. But I got this shit weapon. For a Chaos weapon, it doesn't do much damage. I know we can get more Chaos damage, but I need like some good-ass chakrams that I can infuse. Wait a minute. That reminds me. Dude, I'm looking at these. Oh, yeah, already, look at this. I forgot. If I can get a utility gem that does more Chaos damage. Huh. Yeah, okay. Alright. That might work. I think I'll probably re-gem that, and how I'll do it is I'll re-gem it. If I can get a utility gem that does Chaos damage, I will re-gem. Damn. I will re-gem my chakrams. I will keep the heavily damaged, extra damage against heavily damaged targets, because I can do a lot of initial damage with the ice buff I got. And I'm getting the feeling that if we were to go straight for the armor, there would have been some sort of barrier in the way, and so I had to go around and actually hit that switch that I just hit to sort of open the way. Oh, yeah, look. The door opened. Yeah, we'll go this way first. You know what this reminds me of? Have you guys ever played Golden Sun, Dark Dawn? It's like a RPG situation. Oh, that's the troll. Holy shit. Yeah, but Golden Sun, Dark Dawn, at the very end of it, you had to, like, travel to this freaking area where there was, like, a light source. That was a very powerful light source, so it was so powerful that the light could actually damage you. And so, you had to actually, kind of like in this one, where you have to have protection against a barrier, in that game, you actually had to get, you actually had to get the Umbra armor. You had to go, like in this game, to different areas, and, ow, and you had to actually get the Umbra armor, which is a dark armor that you had to get to sort of, protect yourself against the light. And it was actually some of the best armor in the game, to be honest, for one of the characters. Funny thing, it was like a fist character, like someone who liked to punch. But she would be the one to wear the Umbra armor, and I don't know if you could get Umbra gear for all your characters. You might have been able to. but so far as I know, she was the only one with like Umbra gear that you would use, and she was the one to, as long as you had her in the front of the party, then you would be protected from the powerful light. And this ice is putting in the work right now, bro. Freaking amazing. Anyway, I'm freaking rambling because I just love video games, but hey guys, leave a freaking comment if you ever played Golden Sun, Dark Dawn, or any of the other games. I never played any of the other games because, like, little disclaimer, me, background history, my mom didn't like, I'm not trying that again. Okay. Okay, here we go. Damn it! Should have tried the auto drain. Okay, curse of mana drain. What the hell does that do? I should have got a purification. I wonder if that lifts curses. Whatever. Effects. Oh, it just affects my mana regen, really. But yeah, dude, like I love video games, so situation was that my mom didn't like video games in the house. You know, we had a Super NES back in the day. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past original copy. She got along with the original copy of Super Mario World, and she gave the NES away and sold the copy of Link to the Past at a fucking garage sale for $5 fucking. And I learned about that being one of the greatest games of all time you know, when I grew up, and I was like, Mom, how could you? But that's alright. My mom was very, like, religious. And that you could kind of say I am too, you know, I'm a Christian, but my mom really lived it, you know? And she didn't like, you know, waste time on video games and all that sort of stuff, so we didn't have video games in the house, but, and then she wouldn't buy me, like, Game Boys or nothing either. Like, my brother once got a Game Boy, but it was because, like, he got super lucky and was gifted a motherfucking Game Boy Color by one of his friends, and we had like 2 shitty games for it. It was like a Rush, the racing game, and then they also had freaking what else was it? Ow. Oh, 101 Dalmatians. There was like this 101 Dalmatians game, which, I mean, it was alright for the game that it was. The only reason that we played it so much was because it was the only game we had for it. My mom didn't like Pokemon, right? So we couldn't play Pokemon. Couldn't get that. But Rush was okay. And dude, every car trip, right? Every single car trip, we had that Game Boy. And then my brother eventually was able to get like the little light for it, because you know the Game Boy, the old Game Boys, you had to like tilt it towards the sun to get any kind of visual on the screen, because that's the way the screen was made. And friggin', so he got the light for it so he could play it in the dark. Had a magnifying glass on it, you know, so you could magnify the screen, and there'd be light on it. Had like AA batteries or something. So there was that situation. But we played a shit out of some Rush and some 101 Dalmatians, but then there was another one, Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle 2, I think, and there were like 100 levels to that piece. And that wasn't a particularly, like, fun game, I guess you want to say. Because it was just a side-scroller, and it's Bugs Bunny, and it has very limited ammunition, and you have to avoid all these enemies and then go through all the different doors and reach the end of the level to get to the next level. So there's like 100 levels of that. Excellent soundtrack, you know, but there was 100 levels, and you just, like, it was a slog, man. And you had so much limited ammo, you couldn't even get enough arrows to, like, kill all these guys. You had to avoid them, and then one touch and you were dead and all that good stuff. So we did play the shit out of that. But no other video games in the house, and my mom wouldn't buy one. She bought my dad a Nintendo Game Boy Advance DS. But not the DS, sorry, a Game Boy Advance SP. It was the first one with a flip screen and a backlit screen, you know? So you could play it in the dark, but you didn't need extra accessories to play it in the dark. It was backlit, and you could adjust the lighting and all that good stuff. She gave it, and I saw it, and she gave it to my dad, and I had a lot of hope. I was like, oh, my dad got one. Maybe I get one. No, not at all. I didn't get fucking jack shit. But my mom's also big on freaking... Get out of the way. She was big on earning the money that you got, you know? So, you want to earn some money? Or you want some money? Well, we didn't get an allowance. She offered an allowance if we kept up, like, responsibilities like freaking, taking out the trash and stuff. But that was also, like, you know, dependent on, you know, the trash needed to be emptied, you know, mow the lawn and stuff. But most of the time, she wouldn't give us, you know, a fucking allowance for that. No, that was just our obligated, our reasonable service, you know? Shit. Yeah, it was our reasonable, obligated service to empty the trash and mow the lawn and all that good stuff. So we didn't, you know, we didn't get an allowance or nothing. But when I got my first job, making $5 a fucking hour under the table to landscape contract, which is basically, dude has a landscaping business. We go in there and we cut down trees if we need to. We build a little driveway, you know, we put in driveways. He'll bulldoze the area. He'll bring in equipment on his big, you know, converted highway hauler dump truck situation there. You know, just little stuff like that. But, oh boy. Ow! But yeah, my mom, even though she didn't like video games in the house, she would forbid us from getting like a main console. PlayStation, Xbox, you know, Nintendo, whatever. But she would allow us to have handhelds. That was the one thing she finally conceded that she would allow, because my brother already had a Game Boy Color that she allowed him to have. She straight up bought my dad a Game Boy Advance SP. But me, I didn't get so lucky. Everything I've had to basically work for most of the time in my life. And so the first thing I did with my first super awesome $300 for the week paycheck was I went immediately out to freaking GameStop, or it was Electronics Boutique. You know, I'm old. You know, it might have been EB Games. But one of those places, I went there immediately, and I got a freaking Game Boy DS. It had just come out. The original freaking silver, thick, fat boy, right? So, I got that. Ow, damn it. So I got the original Fat Boy DS, and I immediately got the game that I borrowed a game from a friend of mine, because we had the Game Boy Advance, and my dad would let us play the Game Boy Advance with his game on it, which was, you know, Super Mario World 3. But I borrowed a game from a friend, it was an advanced game, and it was Mega Man Zero. And I was always been obsessed with Mega Man since the first time I saw the design of him and all that stuff. Even though I couldn't play any of the games, I was like, oh, this guy is cool as fuck. Got the freaking, you know, big old cannon on his arm, and he could freaking charge that shit and blow, you know, bastards to smithereens. It was freaking awesome. But then I got Mega Man Zero for the DS, the original, and I was like, oh man, I was in love with that game. Immediately. Took me a while to figure out how to beat the first boss, so I'm not gonna front you. But I will tell you, when I figured out the secret to how to beat that boss and what I needed to use to get there, ow, dude, it was freaking cheese, right? It was cake. Oh boy. And so I finally got the hang of it. Sorry, got a little bit of lag there. Die, you bastard. God, he was fucking me up, bro. Fuck these bitches. Anyway, yeah. So, I'm rambling. I love to talk about this shit, but yeah, long story short, basically, I got my Game Boy DS, and the DS at that time, the DS and the DS Lite, not the 3DS or ones beyond that, but the DS and the DS Lite both had What the fuck is this? Talisman of the Order. Okay, blocks 90 damage, 75 shocking, 30 elemental resistance, and 3 mana regen. I'm gonna stick with the Feral, 200 freezing damage, bruh. Okay, that's not bad. Like I could get a second one. I could double up, but no, I'm not gonna use it. I don't want to drop what I got from that other ring. Anyway, yeah. So I finally got it, and since it had the slot for the advanced and the DS games, I motherfreaking got the first game I ever got, Mega Man Zero 1 for the DS. One of the greatest games ever made. Incredible. The fluid movement. Oh, it's freaking awesome. So, yeah. I finally got my beloved video game system. And that was the first one I ever got, right? Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Okay. Okay, get the circle on him. Okay. Ow. Damn. Okay, here we go. Taking it to the limit, boys. I'm gonna see how much damage this ice stuff does here. Oh, hot damn, that's terrible. Terrible for him, I mean. Heavy damage, heavy damage. Oh, that really drives him back. Dude, this dude's vulnerable to the ice damage too? Oh, damn, I didn't get him. That's alright, I'll take you down like that. Nice. So yeah, that was your boy's first gaming system official that I actually owned, that I was actually bought and was allowed to have with the freaking DS. With Mega Man Zero. Ow. Tony, why are you attacking the... Oh my god. Get some of this down. Yeah. Yeah, boy, get him. That's it, Tony. Oh, get wrecked. Oh my god, I'm getting wrecked. Oh shit. Heavy ice, ice machine gun. Whew. Pulled out all the stops on that one, boys. Damn. So anyway, man, yeah, that was it, you know, Game Boy Advance, or Game Boy DS, freaking, and I did borrow Super Mario World because that was one of the games I had for the original SNES, and then they came up with a version on the Game Boy Advance, and my buddy had that game too, so I borrowed that from him and used that in the freaking DS. So, yeah. And the reason was because I always thought that freaking Super Mario World was one of the greatest games ever made in the Mario series. Like the cape and the flower and the extra item you can get at the top of the screen and the levels and the design of it. It was just incredible. Just an incredible freaking situation. Hey, Twist of Fate. Fucking hey. Chaos Thrall 3. Okay, this is just an upgrade from the last one, right? You have embarked on a dangerous journey into the very heart of Ashar, a realm of pure magic, putting your mind, body, and soul at risk to master the powers of Chaos itself. Spawn a Chaos damage zone when landing a spell on a Chaos enemy. Yes, we do that. 2% damage resistance versus Chaos. Good. plus 10% chaos damage. Awesome. Ability to craft stronger chaos weapons. Good. Good. If we're gonna get that every time, we're in for some good shit. Alright, let me check the armor. Because if this is like might armor, are they gonna have like a Hope of the Fatesworn gauntlets? Okay. Okay, if I'm looking at it, it's a set and it's gauntlet, which is usually a might thing, but there is no might require. Like, look up here, it has a requirement. This has a requirement. Or no, this has a requirement. That has a requirement. These ones, they're armor, but they don't have a requirement, right? So, yeah. What do they look like? Okay, pretty slim and slick. Nice. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, so that's, you know, I eventually got Mega Man Zero 2, which I think was the worst game in the series. I don't know why people like that game. I think it fucking sucked. Mega Man Zero 3, obviously everybody's favorite, was incredible. And then I got Mega Man Zero 4. I really liked it. I liked the Zero Knuckle. And the Zero Knuckle was a new weapon they put in the 4th installment of the Mega Man Zero franchise. And they allowed you to charge that weapon, too, the Zero Knuckle, which was freaking pointless because it wasn't designed as a direct damage weapon. It was designed to for a new mechanic that was specific to that game only, which is that you could use the Zero Knuckle to rip weapons from your enemies, and each enemy that you could rip a weapon from had a unique, different style of weapon that you could rip from him. So, yeah. Anyway, yeah, I got all those games, and then I started getting heavy into DS games, like Custom Robo Arena DS. I still have that game. It's my all-time favorite game fucking ever. Like, there's a lot of games out there, but the GOAT is freaking Custom Robo Arena DS. It's incredible. Like, it's a robot arena fighter, but it's fluid, it's smooth, the abilities, weapons, and customization options are freaking endless and incredible. It's an amazing game. And then I played Draglade. If anybody's ever heard of Draglade, drop your nerd-ass comment in the comments, because I know ain't nobody heard of Draglade that ain't a super nerd for the DS. So, and it wasn't until, like, I joined the Marine Corps, and it wasn't until my first freaking deployment into, to Africa. We were going to spend 9 months in Africa, and that was pretty nice out there. But my friends and I, Platinum had just come out. That was the latest game. You know, first they had Pearl and Diamond and Pearl, was it? But then Platinum came out, which featured Giratina, my all-time favorite Pokemon, by the way. Origin form, not the one with legs, the one that floats around and flies. Ow. But yeah, so Origin form Giratina is my favorite, but what we did was, there was a few of us that were the boots from different shops, because I was in aviation, so we had the boot was from, like, two of the boots from aviation, one guy from, or not from aviation, what the fuck, two of the boots from airframes, or no, I think one from airframes, one from ordnance, and then it was me, the flight line, and which, we were the main guys, right? Flight line guys basically owned the world. But, yeah. And those were our, you know, our aircraft, our birds. We took ownership of those. Anyway, what we did was we all sat around in a little circle, and for hours, what we did was we ground through the first, like, 30-40 minutes of the, of Pokemon Platinum. And, well, I was the guy that was, like, chosen to, I was the guy that was chosen to be, like, the keeper, right? So basically, they would restart their games, and then they would play through the first part of the game, because we all had DSs. they would play through the first part of the game, and you know, the first time they would pick the fire starter, then the next time the water starter, then the last time the leaf starter. And all three of us went for hours just playing through, sat in a little circle in the barracks room, just in a circle, and we played through the first 40 minutes of that game or so, respectively, and traded all the starters to each other so that each of us had all three starters, all three pseudo-legendary starter Pokemon from Platinum, and that way we could continue our adventures on when we went on deployment. And what's this down here? Yeah, on a deployment, and carried on into playing the games more. But we just did ourselves a favor. We were a tight little group of friends, you know, even from different shops. But anyway, yeah, getting out of hand. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about now, just rambling, you know. Old days, and back when the good old days and all that bullshit. But yeah, so, oh, while I did have, what the hell? Oh, that's that one chick's Bargist. Yeah. You found him? Right.
But it's going to take, bless you. I'm eager for Mithros to reopen to the... Hurry back.
Oh, we gotta protect them for fucking what? Damn it. Okay. Let's do this real quick. So anyway, yeah. Friggin'... I don't see anything... Wait. No. Oh, wait, there we go. Shit. Okay. Yeah, funny thing though, unbeknownst to my mom, I would go to my friend's house pretty often. We were in a Civil Air Patrol together, and so we hung out whenever we got the fucking chance. Whenever I could get my mom to freaking... Oh, shit. That's the wrong way, dude. But we would hang out, like, and we would play video games, like, all freaking night, bro. Like, that was our thing that we did. And, got to the point where it's like, that guy didn't have a job at the time, you know, he just lived with his parents or whatever. We're still teenagers, right? So... Oh my god. Are you serious? But yeah, so... Oh boy, didn't have a job, but we hung out together all the time when we could. And, freaking... He had an Xbox, like his parents gave to him when we played Halo and stuff, and we also played a lot of Soul Calibur 2. My main was freaking Spawn, because he was freaking badass in that game. But, freaking... Since I had the money, we rolled down and we would walk everywhere in our little hometown, even though it was a long walk down from his house to town. But we would walk all the way down. Freaking Soul Calibur 3 had just come out, and we were heavy into Soul Calibur and Soul Calibur 2 and also Ninja Gaiden. But, we went into town, and I used my funds, and I bought a PlayStation 2. Now, my mom would never let me have a PlayStation 2 at the house, but we kept it at his house, so I owned a PlayStation 2. Well, she didn't know, but I just had it at his place, you know.
That was too close. It's time for Peaches and I. We owe you our lives.
Yeah. Shut the fuck up. Okay, now we can go and take care of this. But yeah, dude, you know, the good old days, and it was a freaking fun-ass time back then. But made a grand old adventures freaking... Oh, okay, this is the wrong... I'm going the wrong way. I'm going to go the other way, guys. Don't worry, I'm headed... I'm getting my brain back. But yeah, so... A lot of fun we had, and I owned a secret console that my mom didn't know about. I got it back eventually, but I lost it. I forget what happened to it. PS2 was the golden era of gaming, though, guys. Fucking fight me on that. Golden fucking era. So much good shit in the PlayStation. So. Yeah, I'm headed the right way. Anyway, that was freaking fantastic, those games, and everything that went with that. But, yeah, eventually, you know, when I jumped into the Marine Corps and I got my PlayStation 3 and Final Fantasy 15, big Final Fantasy fan. I've got Final Fantasy 13 when that came out. Played the shit out of that. Like, I would go home on lunch when, you know, nobody was around, and I would take a few, like, extra 30 minutes and, you know, go play some Final Fantasy 13 in the middle of the day. You know, if they'd have caught me, I would freaking smoked my ass, but nah, they never really caught on. I was just kind of the average dude. But yeah. Anyway, that's a big old rambling rant, but point being that magic items are generally hard to find. I hadn't found a ring for forever, and now I got this freaking super buff ring. It's incredible. I love it. This game is great, you know. Nice, get me some of that. I'm gonna go double back here and grab me some of this. Those heavy knights, though, dude, are freaking amazingly tough, though. Like, fucking ridiculous. I'm sitting here trying to figure out... Oh, this is a place I haven't been before. Trying to figure out what the fuck and how the fuck. Oh, there's a whole other area over here that I didn't know about. But damn, just never walked this way. What's in here? Nothing. Fucking nothing. There's got to be some sort of like dungeon or something up here that's gonna... Looks like that boat takes us over to the tree island for some reason. What do we got down here? Can I go around? Grab this chest real quick. Oh, it's an antelope. It looks like a fucking dog or some shit. What's up, chest? Zitty's hand wraps. Hell yeah. Next time we're gonna have to experiment with that and see what kind of buffs we get with each armor piece separate and then with the whole set. I don't know if it'll top what we got right now, because what we got is, you know, 450 some with the gems, and Zitty's is only like 300. But anyway, let's listen to this for a minute.
From 3 generations of sweat and blood, of displaced dreams and mountain forges, adhering to the forms of the codex, we constructed an enclave of stone founded on the 4 primary essences of Amun: chaos, order, nature, and magic. The harmonic Cortinian. It was our lasting monument to those who protected us and taught us how to survive amongst the sins of this world.
The lore stone made me forget what I was talking about. Probably wasn't fucking important anyway. But yeah, dog. That's the good times we had. But also, dude, let me know if any of you ever played Custom Robo Arena DS. 'Cause yes, I know there was one for the GameCube, another console I had, incidentally. Eventually I got it just so I could, you know, actually play Custom Robo Arena again. Because the first time I ever played Custom Robo Arena was actually on the GameCube. That was the first console it came out on. And the story and gameplay, or the gameplay is very, very much similar, if not just the same. But yeah, the story was way different for the DS, but and it was way better for the DS. I really couldn't track with the one with the GameCube. The gameplay was exactly the same though. But the graphics, you know, much different because it's more like a third-person situation, like 3D third-person full situation on the GameCube, and on the DS a little bit less hardware. But you know, the overworld was basically just friggin' ow. The overworld gameplay, it was just like it was kind of like Pokemon. It was just like a little like pixelated sprite, and you just walked around on the overworld, right? What the fuck? But the battles, they were like a full 3D rendered. The battles were full 3D rendered, like three-dimensional, all the way around battle arena, which is really freaking cool. Oh, finally got his dumbass. So it was a fantastic game. You know, they had the original for the GameCube, and gameplay was similar, but I couldn't really track the story, and it was kind of a lot clunkier to play on that console. The fluidity of the gameplay and the movement, but on the DS it was freaking fantastic. My favorite game ever. So if you ever played that, you know, let me know. I'd fucking do a playthrough if I could figure out how to record DS gameplay from freaking way back. Anyway, here we are, boys. This is the next area for us to go and get the motherfucking second piece of Chaos Armor. What's it going to be? Legs, chausses, chest, or head? Dunno. But that's going to be next time. So until then, I'll catch you later. I'm out.